Good evening, viewers. Welcome to another episode of Investor Lifestyle Jamaica. Today, we have a special guest on influencers in agriculture. He goes by the name of Mr. Linton Neil. He's a horticulturalist, agronomist, and propagation specialist. Mr. Neil, great to have you today.
I'm blessed, sir, to have you here.
Yes.
We need persons like you to really highlight what is happening in this field. So I welcome you here to capture the moment.
Yes, sir.
And for sure, I learned something from you. You'll be learning from me, and the viewers will be learning something from me.
Excellent, excellent, most definitely. You have an excellent spot here in Old Harbour Town, and at times persons will be driving past. And could you give persons the address and the direction?
Okay, so it's 21 Marley Acres Drive, and that is in Old Harbour. So we always say just across from the Portmore Community College.
Yes.
That's where you turn off. So you'll be due north. Once you are coming in from Spanish Town, you turn on that right where the JLP office is.
Okay.
That's where we are located. Easy to be found, and then we have the health clinic, Old Harbour Health Clinic, just across from us there.
Excellent.
So we are well exposed. We are visible.
Visible, yes.
Yeah.
So, person, once you want the plants, any advice, Mr. Neil is the man.
Yeah.
Question, Mr. Neil, how long have you been in the field of agriculture?
Okay, I remember when I was at All-Age School, I did the JSE. So it was agriculture science, biology, human and social biology, and plant biology we did, English language. And I remember the days when I was 15 years old, I did that exam. And I got distinction in agriculture and agriculture science.
Okay.
From All-Age School days. Now it was the present Governor General, Sir Linton Patrick Alley.
Okay.
He was the one who showed us, who recommended that we went straight to farm school,
Okay.
which was Nakalva.
Okay.
So it started at the school garden where we excel. Well, first, we are from a farming community in Robbins Bay and a farming family. So I say we because I'm a part of a twin. I have a twin brother, Glendon and Linton.
Okay, and he's in agriculture as well?
He is.
Okay.
He is in it. He is the man in agriculture.
Oh.
I'm his little
So we need to get you on the program.
son in it. Yes. So then, we were basically in charge of the school garden, and I remember we cut our first planting at age 8. Yes. So we went from the all-age school setting straight to Nakalba, where it was a boarding situation, and it is a must-learn situation.
Yes.
It was not co-educational like it is now. It was just male. So we were compelled to learn.
Yes, sir.
We were compelled to learn. So at Nakalva, we were there not just as students but as future farmers.
Oh, okay.
I tell you something, but if you check what is happening now, check our batchmates over the years.
Yes.
Glendon and myself, we are the most outstanding and visible, and the one who really stick to it up
Yes.
until this point.
Yes, that's true.
So he operates on a 20-acre lot.
Okay.
My sort of farm is more condensed.
Okay.
Yes, small area, but I make sure that it is more condensed and compact farming. In other words, his quotation would be per acre.
Oh.
My quotation is per square foot.
Per square foot. Okay.
Yes, because I make use of small spaces.
Small space, yes.
Yes, and get the same volume of plant
Yes.
that he would get.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, make use of vertical spaces.
Okay.
It would be on the surface, but I make use of surface plus vertical spaces.
Okay. Interesting.
You can go through the program without knowing different soil type.
Yes.
So our exam was based on what you did out there
Yes.
in the farm.
Oh,
So
okay.
the examiner would ask you, what is the soil type?
Yeah.
What is this sort of fertilizer, manure or compost you're using while your sweet pepper are so robust? Huh? I remember at Nakalba we had competition, so I did what is known as well, two things I did. I did cloning. So
Okay.
cloning is not just now.
It's a long time, yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah,
And I did what is known as composite, a composite plant. And for the composite plant, meaning that on that one variety of plant, I put, for example, the citrus, I put like 5 different citrus type on the one stock.
Yes.
So you could get navel fruit here, orange here, Autenique here, lime,
Yeah.
and Valencia all on the one stock. So for that, I got a calf, a bull calf, prize.
So from that time, you're really a propagation specialist.
Yes, yes. So I am doing cloning from, it's not just a buzzword, it's a YouTube jargon now.
Yes.
It is a long time thing. Cloning and make a composite plant.
Okay.
So when I did, I was inspired from then to move on, not just to graduate from Nakalba and become complacent.
Yes.
Once I left Nakalba, I went in the Ministry of Agriculture.
Oh, okay.
Yes, as a field assistant.
Yes.
And then from there now I expand and studied, and then eventually I became the horticulturist with the Ministry of Agriculture, assigned to Oak Gardens.
Okay.
So all the gardens, the Castleton Gardens, Fern Gully, Sincona, Bath, I was in charge of the plant propagation and moving plants from one point to other. Take from Sincona, bring it down to a level where
Okay.
normally plant would not really respond as
well.
it was in their natural habitat.
habitat,
So
yeah,
I have
that's
to get
true,
them
that's true.
acclimatized, bring some to Castleton, take from Castleton to Oak Gardens to get them acclimatized and adjusted to this kind of elevation, oceanic influence, saline condition. So the type of agriculture that I'm doing, it is an exacting science.
Oh, okay.
All the sciences you have to imply. The physics, the chemistry,
Yes.
the
Yeah, most definitely.
the biology of plant biology, the structure of the stem, the leaves, the works, the works.
Yeah,
So it's not
excellent.
something that you just go and you learn something. Because what I find is that, and this is what really get me started with the school, I realized that students in the agriculture department,
Yes.
in the secondary level, you find that they'll spend hours on end going to agricultural classes, and when they are finished, there's no employment for them, because
True. True. So true.
what I realize is that they are so theoretical
Yes.
and they lose the opportunity of being practically oriented.
And just to stick a pin on that, viewers, the landscape, the horticulture, floriculture, that's an area that we have not really tapped in. And you know, to get back, how you do see if we can get back to youth in terms of education.
Right. Okay. So if you were to, when I left Nakalba, we didn't have to apply for a job. We have managers. The Coconut Industry Board
Yeah.
came to graduation. Pimento Board came to graduation. The dairy industry came to the graduation. We have the cocoa board came to graduation. So sometimes it's when you are gainfully employed, then the application, the formal application went through.
Okay.
Now it's not like that. The traditional farming is basically out. So we have to really go beyond the tradition. Mean the pumpkin and the banana and the coconut and the yam and the banana planting. If you were to invest, you could lose your work.
Yes.
Your shirt, as they would say in this sort of thing.
Yes,
So
that's
to
true.
keep abreast of situation, you have to diversify. So
Excellent,
we now
yeah.
put it in a form where we have orchard, we have vegetable, herbal, and in herbal it is divided basically two. We have the culinary herbs and the medicinal herbs,
yeah.
right? And the floriculture. Floriculture is divided into two components. You have the cut flowers and the landscape flowers.
Okay.
So if you want to grow roses and get the buds for sale,
Yeah.
or you want to make wreath or whatever, that's where the floriculture comes in.
Yes.
But the landscape aspect of it devours all of these. So anything named plant, it's a product.
Yeah,
and
that's
it will
true.
sell. And people gaining their keys for their home space, the first thing they want is a nice little garden.
Yes, yes.
And then
Beautiful scenery around.
exactly. So you start at the front, you do a nice little garden, and then you gravitate towards the back where you set up fruit trees.
Yes, sir, Neil. So
Yes,
you can
so,
speak
so
about
we
it.
were talking about the traditional agriculture, which is the banana planting and stuff like that.
Yes.
If you were to invest heavily in that, you could lose your word, you could lose
True.
your shirt, as they say.
Yes.
Now, the diversification of agriculture leads me and others to do something like this.
That's the Zaza grass?
This is also the turf grass.
Okay.
And in the days of Nakalva, we didn't think of this. No, this wasn't a product.
But now it is.
It is a product now. So this is what they call the carpet grass or the zoysia.
Okay.
So we bring it home. We have now domesticated it so much so that you could purchase this conveniently
Yes.
in your car.
Yes. Whoa. And take it home.
And take it home. So on this side, here we are containerizing fruit trees. So if you have a small yard space, then there's no escaping it. You can also grow these orchard crops in container. Here we have the ackee. This ackee has been bearing for the past 5 years. It is a performance.
Is it grafted or non-grafted?
This was done through circumposing.
Circumposing. Oh.
Yeah, circumposing.
Because I know we usually do the grafting at borders.
Right. So the circumposing is another aspect of plant propagation. Circumposing, by its name, is you make circular cuts on the stem of the parent, and while it is rooting, it is being supported by the parent.
Yes.
So if you have a plant and you're in doubt as to what method of plant propagation, your first attempt would be circumposing.
Yeah, that's true.
And in another episode, we can look at the practicality of circumposing.
Yes.
But it's a fast way home because you identify a mature portion of the parent and you go straight into making it a plant.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So this is as a result of circumposing. And see, we have, it is not yet out of production and it is now preparing for bearing. These are flower. And see, it is in a 14-inch pot.
14 inch, yeah.
Likewise, the mango. Here's a mango.
But the question is, will it get pot bone if they stay too long?
It will. You are not going to be getting commercial quantities
Yes.
from being containerized.
But it's a start.
Right.
It's a
Right,
start.
it's a start. So what we can do, we can graduate this to a bigger pot. So from a 14 to like a 20, even a drum.
Okay.
Yes, you could put it in a drum so you get more. The more soil volume the root is exposed to, the bigger the plant will get, more production. Yeah.
Okay.
But for small yard spaces, then you can get it. Sometimes it's not really for the commercial quantity, but for as a part of the landscape,
Yes.
the novelty,
the
aesthetics of
Yes,
having a nice little Jew plum on your lawn,
that's true.
a nice little mango berry.
Yes.
Yes.
So true.
And then you can go to backbush for the commercial quantities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
Sir Neil, interesting stuff. Just want to zone in on some lucrative area in the landscape and turf management because I'm a fan of sports.
Okay.
I know that turf management is big, like football field, the type of
Okay.
grass, golf course, of international tournaments.
Yes.
And you should have some experience with the hotel industry as well.
Yes.
Could you speak on that?
Okay, so Greenfield Trelawney, prior to the opening of Greenfield Trelawney, I got a call late one night that there were some issues with the turf. So right away I know that it is a nocturnal invasion of parasite,
Yes, sir.
insect parasite or pest. So we spoke, I went down there, the person was telling me that they were surfing the net in Australia trying to get somebody to come down.
From Australia.
Yes.
To Jamaica.
Yes, to Jamaica to rectify that problem. I know right away the problem. I know the insect by names, so the gentleman tell me that how much I'm gonna charge for it. That's why I have to go down there. We can't play it by here. I have to go. So I went down there late. I went there maybe about 11 o'clock that night, and I went there with a flashlight. and I went down on my knees and I was looking and I saw the insect there. I made the recommendation. The long and short of it, I went down there and did a spraying exercise. I went up the top there of the pavilion with a boom sprayer. Two guys had a boom sprayer on the ground, and I was on top there with a flashlight, giving them the rotation.
Oh, okay.
So because it's nighttime,
yes,
and when they're spraying, if they miss a spot, and I point the flashlight, it glows.
Yeah.
So if they miss one area, I give them a counter direction,
yes,
anti-clockwise, so that they have to go back. And then if they're doing a good job, I just keep the flashlight like this, so they're following and they reach into the middle. And then
management at its best, people. Management at its best.
And then I called the contact person and said, how close are you to the caretaker for these guys, because they're all killed.
Yes.
So you can go there and pick up the carcasses. Yeah. And so turf management, you see, even now when I tell people that this grass here need to be managed, because we are in drought period, and the more lush your garden is, the more you're going to have more insect pests in your garden than what is out there in the wild.
Yeah,
why? Because you keep these lush.
Yes.
And you will have insect now. See, you have them insect, right? So your turf must be managed. You're not going to be spraying as often as you do a lettuce or a pak choy bed or a cabbage bed, but at least you have to make sure that you pay attention to your turf.
Yeah, that's
check
true.
what is happening. You need just to agitate, and you see insect fly. Once you see that, it's time for you to spray, because I always get the call, Mr. Neil, my land is not looking good, we have dry spots.
So you're like a plant doctor.
Well, a lot of persons come with that.
Yes.
So there could be a lot of things, but I find that you're not paying attention to the insect pest that is affecting the grass. So you must, because sometimes they start from one point, like here, and they continue all along until when you realize it is all taken up by these little things. And there are some little bugs that flies there. See them there?
Yeah.
Yes? So those, they are quite avaricious. They eat, not because they are tiny, but they can do a very good job of scalping, clearing the field of those soils. They are like locusts.
Yes, yes. I've
Mini
seen it on
locusts.
certain football turf.
Yes.
So.
Now this grass, there's certain management aspect. You can't allow it to go too thick. So this will be too thick here.
Yes. And what's the height it should be kept at?
So if it's too high, what you're gonna have, moisture is trapped here, and fungal growth
Will take place.
So ideally it should be like this. So if you keep your zaws here in a consistent, so you'd have to have a regular mowing program. It must be consistent in height.
Okay.
So it can't be 2 inches now, 3 inches. It must be
Yes.
consistent, and you must have a regular schedule of maintenance.
So you recommend what 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch? What?
For this one, the best result is like inch and a half,
Inch and a half,
consistently, and you will mow and no dry spots.
Yes.
Because if you go up this time, and then you're gonna be having dry spots, as in this case. So here would be perfect. This height would be perfect.
The question, because you know some person use the weed whacker versus the mower.
Okay.
Because you know the weed whacker has a chop out, unless the person is really skilled.
Now,
do you recommend it?
We have persons who can handle the weed whacker, but you have to really skill at it. You can't be up and down, and your nylon must be consistent in terms of the length.
Yeah.
The more, to me, is the best, but you have some tight areas that the more will not negotiate. So the whacker works well, especially in stony areas.
Yeah, that's true.
But I always recommend the small mower. The small mower, you can gauge it and put it on one level, one height.
Yes.
So that will give you a consistent height. No up and down, one consistent height.
That's true.
And then you use your sharp implement and do detailing. You go in those little areas, if there's bad weed or if the grass is mounting up here, then you go and you separate the grass that is now going on this and keep it nice and pristine.
Yes. So Neil, can we take a walk
Sure.
in the nursery? And viewers, remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. Investor Lifestyle Jamaica.